This is Travis Zimmerman of Speak My Word Ministries. The Daily Pulse today is second in a series of 4 on the in-between times. Times in our lives when we're between like a joyous event and disaster, as it were. And God gave me a really cool devotional that I shared at our men's group this week. And this is the second part of it. We considered yesterday King David and what he did in his in-between times and how he stumbled and fell. And that's a good lesson for us. On the other side, and the characters of God, the I will personalize God gave me are among the most famous. We have King David, and today we're going to share in what Daniel did in between times, and just a very short passage or two about what Daniel's doing and how instructive it is for us even today. So what's happening right now, and I'm in Daniel chapter 6, is Daniel's about ready to be thrown in the lion's den. His peers and his fellow administrators were jealous of Daniel. Daniel had given by God so much wisdom, and they couldn't find anything on this guy. So they said, you know what, we'll have to make up something about his God, and that way we'll trip him and we'll get rid of this guy, because he probably makes us feel uncomfortable, and he's not one of us, and he worships one God. He's silly like that. We worship many, and we kind of cover our bases that type of way. But specifically, Daniel, the king issues a decree, and that anyone who breaks it's going to be thrown in the lion's den. So here's Daniel's response, and it's almost an inference, as you hear the way Daniel lives his life, as we talk about those in-between times. Again, this is Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. Now when Daniel learned that the decree had been published, he went home in his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. 3 times a day he got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to God, just as he had done before. Wow, just as he had done before. The tail end of Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. So here comes it. Daniel's suddenly now not in an in-between time. He's in a time of crisis. But what was Daniel's pattern? He went into his room and he prayed, and they're saying 3 times a day. I'm sure Daniel, maybe that was formally, but just knowing Daniel's character, he probably was praying the entire day long, and just as he had done before. And that's a pattern for us in our own lives, as we're in these between times, between great things and tragedies. We can be praying a lot, just as Daniel did, not waiting for the great times to say, God, now I'm going to praise you for this, or the poor times when things are disaster, and say, God, I really need you now. Of course, we need God always, but the lesson that Daniel teaches us here is that we can be in prayer from good times and bad times, trusting Jesus through it. In your name, Lord, amen.